Hi everyone, I'm Kelsey Dugan, and today we're going to be talking about the Massachusetts frameworks for high school mathematics. And it's broken up into 6 conceptual categories, which are number and quantity, algebra, functions, modeling, geometry, and statistics and probability. Today we're going to be mainly focusing on the algebra category. So algebra is broken up into 4 different standards, one being seeing structure in expressions, the second one being arithmetic with polynomials and rational expressions, the third one is creating equations, and the fourth one is reasoning with equations and inequalities. Today we're going to be focusing on the reasoning with equations and inequalities standard, and under this standard, students will have to understand solving equations as a process of reasoning and explain the reasoning. They will also have to solve equations and inequalities in one variable, solve systems of equations, and then represent and solve equations and inequalities graphically. I would start off by teaching a lecture type notes sort of portion so my students would understand why we're doing what we're doing and have a basis about how to do them. And part of the notes, I would give my students many examples. I know that I learn best in mathematics by having examples so I can compare them to other problems I might get, and I'll kind of have an idea of already how to do them. Other than examples and having notes, I would give some worksheets that wouldn't count for much. It's just a lot of practice. Mathematics is all about practice and getting better and just focusing on the next quiz or the next test and what's going to be on that. So I would never give my students anything that doesn't really have to do with what would be on their test or their final or whatever it may be. I would also try to add some group work into my lesson plan because that way students can get to know their peers, and if students are struggling or if students are doing better than other students, they can kind of even it out and help each other out, and maybe they have a better way of explaining it than I did to them. So maybe with group work they can better understand the concepts and what they're doing. I would also maybe put some problems on the board and ask for volunteers, so any students who are doing really well, they can try to teach it to their peers, and they'll have to write out exactly what they did, and they'll get kind of a little taste of teaching. Also, I think that teaching what you're learning could be very beneficial. The most important thing is that my students understand what they're doing and don't get frustrated, because I know not everyone's good at math, and math is very frustrating, especially if you aren't that good at it if you don't understand. So I just want to make sure my students are comfortable and are learning in the best way they can.